Hello, David Clarke here from DaVinci Training, and today I'm going to do a quick tutorial about a couple of free things that you can get for DaVinci Resolve. One of them only works in Studio, one of them will work in both the Studio and the free version. And they are a bunch of free presets for use in Fusion, and on the Deliver page, the ability to export H.264 using XAVC, which is a very well-known way of making MPEG-4 video. It's widely regarded as one of the best, and you can use it free using a program called Handbrake, but you can actually get a free plugin that makes it work directly inside of Resolve here. So I'll go through how to do those two things. First, let's have a look at this plugin. So you can see I've actually got it here. Literally, I go to MP4, I can choose plugin ABC, and then from there I can come down and set things like constant quality, variable quality, single pass, two pass, all the sort of thing that you'd expect in a decent MPEG-4 encoder, but it's using X.264. How do you get that into Resolve? Firstly, go to the Blackmagic forum and this page, which I will link to in the description. And here you can see a description of how to get this thing and stick it into your program. So you come down here, you download the plugin. Now I'm on Windows, so I download that. And then what you've got to do is just put it in the right place. When you download it, unzip it, and then inside the folder you'll have this little thing that says H.264 encoder plugin, blah de blah de blah. So get it and unzip it so you can see that. Then what you do is you go to the Programs drive, Programs Data, Blackmagic, DaVinci Resolve, Support, and here you can see a folder called Plugins, which you think you would put it in, but you don't. You have to put it in this folder called IO, that's an O, not a zero, IO Plugins. If that one doesn't exist, you got to make it. Generally, every time I install this, I have to make it. So make that folder, and then just copy that folder into this one. So copy the .bundle folder into this IO Plugins folder that you've just made. Then all you got to do is start at Resolve again. You go in to your program and it turns up. It's under MP4s, and then under encoder you've got to choose this one, plugin AVC. And then you've got basically that plugin there, and you can do all the usual stuff. I use the constant quality settings when I'm doing tutorials like this. The constant quality I find very good for screen recordings because it makes really small files when not a lot's moving on screen. I go to the variable bitrate one if I'm making up regular files, and I'll have to actually work out a number. It's in kilobytes, which isn't very helpful. So you actually have to work out a decent number to put in there. Then it uses X.264 to encode your footage. The other way to use X.264 is to export a file out of Resolve and just do it inside of Handbrake. I have got a video about using Handbrake. If I'm doing that on a Windows PC, then I tend to use an AVI file and Grass Valley and Grass Valley HQX. Grass Valley format you may not want to use if you're not using EDIUS. You can get a free codec to shove it on your computer, but I just find that makes really good, decent quality files which will go straight into Handbrake. But I like to use that one on Windows. But of course, you don't have to do that if you put the plugin in, because you can do it directly out of Resolve. The second plugin is something to be used in Fusion, and it's a plugin called Reactor, and it adds in lots and lots of extra filters. So let's go to this clip here of a squirrel. I'm going to make up a new Fusion clip, pop into Fusion, and obviously you've got all the tools and effects that you normally have inside of Resolve. But I have added some more in. And one particular plugin that I put in is called Lightning. On its own, Resolve doesn't have a Lightning plugin, and I wanted to do some Lightning. So you pop that in and bang, you've got some Lightning. You've got a start position and an end position, start off screen, click animation for those, have it pop across and try and hit that squirrel, and move across screen, whatever you want to do. I can just get it to change the lightning on every frame, change the jagginess. I always find it's a little bit too jagged. Put the detail up. Maybe I don't want any thickness tapering. Bosh, I've got a bit of lightning. It then shoots across the screen. But I tend to then take that and then add some glows on it to make it look like a decent piece of lightning. But anyway, that's not what I was talking about. What I want to talk about is how did I get that put in there? What I did is go and get this plugin, and again I'll put the link in the description below. It comes from a place called We Suck Less, but it is completely free. I do find on some of these free websites it's quite hard to work out where to download, but here just click on the word code and choose zip. And then once you've downloaded it, unzip it, I'm using a free zip program called 7-zip that I put on all the computers, which I can get up through a right click on my Windows 11 thanks to a little registry change that I've made to Windows 11. Windows 11 by default hides some of this stuff, and I've got a registry thing that you can change so it works the same way that Windows 10 did, and you can find out about that on my website. But anyway, unzip it, then you've got to install it. The simplest way to install it is to just open up Resolve, take this file and drop it into the playback window here, and then it'll start installing stuff. It does take a little bit of time, so just let it get on with it. Once it's finished installing, the next thing you can do is to choose some plugins that you want to put in there. Now there are loads of possible plugins in here. Click on any of them, it gives you an explanation. Some of these might mean things to you, some of them won't. What is an atom/command? I'm not entirely sure. But in particular, my lightning one is this one, Blitz FX Lite. So I just tick that, click on install, and it installs it. And it gets installed and then ready to use. Now once you've done this and you've selected your plugins, you can close down Reactor, and it wants you to restart Resolve to make sure everything is installed properly. So restart it and then you'll be able to use those particular things. Once you've actually got it installed, if you ever want to come back and fiddle and maybe add some more things in, come up to Workspace, go to Scripts, Reactor, and you can see here you've got some resources which will take you to online discussions and so on. You've got some tools that you've got here, or you can go and open Reactor and it will go through and bring up that list of commands again, and you can tick something else. For instance, there's a light wrap effect here, which Fusion doesn't have as a default. Select it, gets installed. As it says here, you access it because we're going macros, effect, light wrap. But bosh, new stuff's been installed. Restart Resolve, and there we are, I've got a fast light wrap. So in this case, I would input two things, a background and a foreground, and it would have wrapped stuff around it. But very nice thing to have, especially because it's free. Coming back to my little lightning here, how would I make that lightning look a bit better? Well, actually what I would do is I'm going to pop it off there. I would add in a background. Put the lightning on a background. So if I have a look at that, just press the number 1 to pop it up there. There's my lightning. I'm going to then merge it over the top of this. Now the reason I wanted to put the lightning on its own little layer, so this one goes into here and that is the foreground and that one's the background. And two ways of making this appear over the top, because currently it's over a black background, is I could go to the background and turn down the alpha, which makes the background completely transparent but leaves the lightning. Or I could have changed this here to screen. Now in screen, sort of all the dark stuff disappears and only the white stuff remains. But you see now I've got my one little lightning there. I can then add my soft glow, which puts a bit of a glow on it. And if I want the glow to be a different color, I'm just going to open up this and let's take down the green and take down the red and up the blue, which makes it a nice blue glow. And then let's copy and paste that as well. So shove another glow on there, but this time make the glow a bit bigger. And make the first glow a bit brighter, and suddenly I'm starting to get a decent bit of lightning. Now I've only got one string of lightning there. What might be nice is to have 2 or 3 of them. If I want to stick another bit of lightning on that, I'm just going to come down here, copy, and then paste. So that's Control C and Control V. Change the randomness, and suddenly I've got 2 bits of lightning. Control C, Control V, randomize it again. I got 3 bits of lightning that basically all follow the same thing. Trying to attack the squirrel. Of course, there's a lot more I would do with this. Since it's a handheld shot, I would want to motion track it, because at the moment the lightning's not moving around. I'd want to motion track it so it moves around in conjunction with the background. I want to light up a bit around the ground where the squirrel is, so it looks like the lightning's actually interacting, all sorts of stuff like that. There is actually a lightning plugin as part of Reactor as well, which I think actually does better quality off the bat, but it finds it very resource heavy, so I like to use this one because I can get a good bit of feedback on it. And I can still make it look good just with a couple of soft glows on it and fiddling around like this. I could spend a lot more time talking about how I do this. I use it for all sorts of things like laser beams, lightning following stuff around, but I don't want to get too involved in it. Really, I just wanted to show you that you can go off and you can get some free extra plugins for Fusion and very easily just pop them in there and you've just got access to extra stuff. The Fusion plugin works in the free version of Resolve as well as in the paid version. The option to add in X264 as an encoder is something that you only get with the studio version. You can't add in extra encoders with the free version of Resolve. Anyway, hope you found that useful. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. You can visit my website to find out more about me, www.dvctraining.co.uk, and hopefully I'll see you next time.